You like survival horror, right? If you do, then you probably like Silent Hill and Resident Evil. They are staples of the genre, and the entire gaming landscape as we know it would be different without them. The entire world, the entire planet would crumble and collapse without them. Okay, probably not. The point is, they are very popular. Resident Evil more so than Silent Hill. Resident Evil fans enjoyed a lot of great titles since RE7, where they did that thing with the title with the V and I, which represents the number 7. Yeah, very clever. But Silent Hill, whatever they're doing with it right now, is weird and kind of bad. I can go on a full rant about it, because like every Silent Hill game, I adore the first 4 games, and I want this franchise to succeed. But this is not that type of video, so I'll just say that I hope the Silent Hill 2 remake will be good. Regardless, both franchises are still very important and influential, so it makes sense to try and copy them. Just like we had a boomer shooter renaissance over the last few years, maybe the same is happening with classic survival horror. Perhaps. There's a few games coming out this year and next year, and they've got playable demos. They're free, so why not check them out? We got the fixed camera, we got the limited inventory, we got the looping level design with backtracking, we got limited resources, we got save rooms, we got enemies that can fuck you up pretty good. That's cool, very cool, but just having those things doesn't necessarily mean that the game is good. All of those elements need to work together, in harmony. There should also be some sort of interesting story, right? Not necessarily mind-blowing, but at least something intriguing. Let's see if these games are actually good. Yeah, they're good. They're great. You don't have to keep watching. Go play them now. But if you're still here, then let me tell you why they are good and what you can expect from them. First up, we've got Crow Country. This immediately gave me Silent Hill vibes. Look at this. Listen to the sound effects. Nice. At least here, the protagonist doesn't crash the car like an idiot, right, Harry?
Oh shit, I'm sorry.
There's no fixed camera here. Instead, we have a top-down camera perspective, which you can rotate. The character designs are weird and cute. The protagonist kind of looks like a doll. And I don't mean it like, hey babe, hey toots, be a doll, would ya? No, I mean she literally looks like a doll. We're playing as a cop, sent to find a missing person. That's always the story in these games, right? Finding someone who is missing. Why do I always have to do the hard work, huh? Why can't those people find themselves? So irresponsible of them. Anyway, we need to find a gentleman by the name of Edward Crow, who is the owner of this place, a place called Crow Country, just like the title of the game. At first, it looks like your typical abandoned theme park. Nothing too special, until you hear the creepy music. Spooky. I like it. Like in any good horror game, you can search for items, like health and ammo, items that will help you survive. But in this game, you can search in trash cans. Is this something that cops do? Just search in random trash cans? The game can be creepy, but at the same time, it has a sense of humor. I saved them so much money. Just imagine how much all of this wasted water would cost. Also, there's 2 Silent Hill references here. This one.
Who would even think of doing something so disgusting?
Not me. No, never, not me. And a blocked bathroom stall. I think this happened in every Silent Hill game, at least in the original games. Oh. Eventually we meet some enemies, and for a demo, there's some variety here. The first enemies are these beef jokey dudes, and I know it doesn't look like it by the way I'm describing them, but trust me, they are way more spooky than I make them out to be. The music is creepy, the sound design is intense, the environment shifts and makes you feel like you're isolated in hell while you are fighting these abominations. They're closing in and you're not sure if you have enough bullets to take care of them. It's great. Lovely. Then we have some spiders, and whatever this is, we also have some really tall boys, like really tall, at least 6 feet. They are really hard to take down, unless you have explosives. You have your gun, which has a laser sight. You can aim pretty much wherever you want. Very convenient. But you can also find grenades, which are obviously very powerful. And if you don't have grenades, just use the environment, because it's normal to have explosive barrels in amusement parks. The kids love it. Besides dealing with enemies, we of course have puzzles. And they're quite good. Not hard, not frustrating, but you still need to use your head. You need to pay attention, because if you don't, you might get punished. The areas are well designed, every place is distinct, but if you ever get lost, you have a map. Also there's a save room, because of course there is, and you can even use the sun to save. I really like this one. Too bad it ended pretty quickly. It took me just over an hour to beat, and even then I was just walking around back and forth. There isn't a lot in terms of story, but the mystery of this place is intriguing. That's something that I can honestly say about all of these games. The greatest mystery of all time is probably what lies beyond, what lies in the next life. Would you like to solve that mystery? I know I would. Actually no, I wouldn't. That seems like too much work. But that's what the protagonist of the next game wants to do, kind of. That was an awkward segue. Heartworm. This game is more Resident Evil than Silent Hill. From the intro screen to the notes you find in the game. There's even Resident Evil door animations, which you cannot skip. Now that's truly being faithful to the source material. But there are also dreamlike qualities to the game, which aligns more with Silent Hill. This game gives you the option to change between tank and modern controls. But what's really impressive, at least to me, is that you have the classic fixed camera perspective, very old school, very cinematic, exactly like in Resident Evil. It's super faithful, but then, whoa, it turns into a third-person shooter. It does that whenever you aim your weapon. It's seamless. I really like that you can shift perspectives like that. You've got all of these beautiful and decrepit places, which you can see from a specific point, but then you can also fully see them in 3D, which makes you appreciate them even more. Your weapon is a camera, by the way, so maybe this game is more like Fatal Frame? So what's the story here? Well, as I alluded to earlier, the protagonist wants to know what's on the other side. Basically, she wants to see someone who died. Supposedly, there's a house with a magical room that takes you to the afterlife. How does she know all of this? She spoke with random people online. That's never a good idea. She probably found a subreddit called r/spookyhouse. Not to be confused with My House, which is a psychological horror all on its own. I didn't know Doom can do that. In the opening cutscene, immediately there's a reference to the Saw movies. I think. Did you know that pools are nice? Anyway, she said, but really determined to find this place. She drives to the strange house and explores it. The house reminds me a bit of the Spencer Mansion, which is obviously intentional, less in how it looks and more in the way you explore it. There are multiple floors with locked doors. You need to explore to find key items and clues to solve puzzles, which are really easy by the way, but it's fine for the beginning of the game. It's fine for a demo. There's even a chess puzzle. I solved it on the first try, because I'm a chess genius. But actually it's really easy. Of course we have a limited inventory, but it doesn't really come into play. In the demo you won't get to a situation where you don't have enough room for something. There's also an item box. You could store items here if it wasn't a demo. I won't tell you exactly what happens, but let's just say that this house is the least of your problems. This game goes places. Just when you think there are no enemies in this game, the Raincoat Killer from Deadly Premonition attacks you. I don't know if it's really based on him, but there's obviously some similarities here. Then there's a nod to the first zombie in Resident Evil, only here it's not a zombie, it's the protagonist. And then you're attacked by static humanoids. You can hurt them with your camera, like in Fatal Frame, but they can hurt you too. You can eventually kill them, but they can kill you too.
Any other victims? Oh, I see.
The enemies don't drop anything, so there's no incentive to kill them. Well, except if they're standing in your way and they are annoying you. They are slow, but they have an attack that can make you walk slowly as well, which makes it harder to run away from them. Everything suddenly becomes surrounded by static. You are literally trapped by it. I feel like the static represents something psychological in the protagonist. Maybe that's her hazy memories, or a part of her that she wants to forget. Or maybe it's just a massive wall made out of static. Maybe instead of a zombie virus, there's a static virus, which might be more scary. It's more weird. As the game progresses, you go into more and more bizarre places. You see stranger and stranger things. You have more and more questions, but no answers. For now. Personally, I only have one question. Is it just me, or is this thing fucking huge?
That's what she said!
It's supposed to be this small thing that you put on a door. Why is it gigantic when you pick it up? Where does she even put it? Okay, that was more than one question. Shut up. Bottom line, the game is good. It sticks to the source material, and it does it well. If you are tired from recent Resident Evil games turning into third-person shooters, and you're hungry for some classic tank controls and fixed camera perspectives, then this is it. This is for you. Next up is maybe the most unique game in this video, Holstin. The first thing you'll notice is that you cannot change the language. So if you don't like Polish for some reason, too bad for you, I guess, but it's okay. Everything is translated to the universal language, English. The second thing you'll notice is that this game is cool. As of now, there are 2 demos, with a third one coming out soon, I think. You start the first demo, you look at it and you think, oh, it's like a top-down, isometric, low-res exploration game. But then you play the second demo, and just like in Heartworm, whoop, it goes into third person. I think it's even more impressive here. First of all, you actually have guns here. And second, look at this change in style. In Heartworm, it feels like a natural transition. It's the same map with the same look, but you get a different perspective. In Holstin, it's like you're shifting between 2 different games. You go from a pixelated look into a more detailed, cartoony and creepy look. You go from a puzzle adventure game to a survival horror third-person shooter. I'm not saying that one is better than the other, they're both great. I'm just saying that I find it really cool and interesting. Also, the camera is fixed. It doesn't follow you, but at the same time, you can rotate it. It's like you're controlling the fixed camera perspective. This time, we're not playing as a woman, we're playing as a man with a mustache. I don't get exactly what's going on here, but I get the impression that everything outside is corrupted and fucked. There's some sort of outbreak, and society is collapsing. In the first demo, we're investigating a house. We are sent to find blueprints that might help with the situation outside. The house is not in the best condition, and I'm not just talking about all of the piss on the walls and floor. There are tentacles everywhere. They're blocking us, and the only way to get past them is to turn on the lights, which is the main puzzle of this demo. There are fuses, but not enough to power the whole house. You need to choose which area to light up, which in turn will decide which areas are not going to be blocked by the tentacles, and doing that will allow you to progress and discover new areas in the house. The most creepy and interesting part is what the boy in the closet tells us. He says he's hiding from the woman in white, and maybe he wants us to kill her. He can also give useful tips if you're stuck. I didn't find any lady in white. The only lady I found is my boss, who also gives me useful tips, but also likes to tease me.
Ma rozkładane schody w pokoju i normalne schody w korytarzu.
To stary dom. Może rozkładane schody prowadziły na strych, ale dobudowali piętro.
Tu znalazł mi się architekt.
And another lady who doesn't seem to notice the huge hentai tentacles around her. She's just complaining that the kids are not disciplined. Maybe she's just used to it. Maybe it's normal, and I'm the weird one. Maybe there were no blueprints at all, and all of this was just a waste of time. But that's just the story. What about the gameplay? The combat?
Noż do jasnej kurwy.
It's brutal. This is hardcore. There are multiple levels that you can select. I mostly played the last level. There's a major focus on resource and inventory management. You barely have enough space, but as you progress, your inventory gets bigger, which is good because you'll need to take as many items as you can. Enemies don't have a lot of health, but there are a ton of them, and you don't want to get surrounded by them. Just 2 hits can take half of your health, which also decreases your maximum stamina. Yes, there's stamina here, and it's unforgiving like in Souls games. Anytime you shoot, kick, dodge, or just breathe, your stamina gets lower. Kicking and dodging, yeah, I get it. But shooting? That's the first time I see something like this. You have to be very careful not to spray with your guns, unless you want to get super tired really quickly, and then get hit and die. The guns aren't anything special, but thankfully they are powerful. You can take down an enemy pretty quickly. You can even shoot their legs off. And the shotgun is powerful. Sometimes you'll be stuck with no ammo, and you'll need to hope that you have enough items to craft some ammo, or that you have a key to the next storage room. This game might not follow the aesthetics of Silent Hill and Resident Evil, but it does follow their survival horror mechanics, their survival horror ideology. I have really high hopes for this one, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm always happy to play as a protagonist with a fancy mustache. And now for the game that looks the most like Silent Hill. If I did not know it was an indie game, and it was 20 years ago, I would have thought that this was an official sequel to Silent Hill. Silent Hill 5 Blade Runner. It looks really good and faithful. The reason I say looks good is because I haven't played it. I only looked at it. I'm still going to talk about it. Yeah, for some reason the demo stopped being available, so I couldn't play it. It was available like 2 months ago, so I'm gonna talk about how it looks to me, and maybe bring this game to your attention, because it deserves it. This is a tech noir survival horror short story set in the urban decay of a long abandoned British city. That's informative. Like in every Silent Hill game, you're looking for someone. And also like in every Silent Hill game, you're exploring abandoned streets and abandoned apartments. I'm not complaining, this is awesome. There are monsters here, though I still don't know what they represent, but it's always either something tragic or sexual. Silent Hill is the only survival horror game that can make you afraid and horny at the same time. The combat looks janky and weighty, which is suitable. There are items to find and puzzles to solve. Basically this is Silent Hill but futuristic. The advanced technology is probably what led to this mess. You can see that there was some kind of war that left this place in ruins. Environmental storytelling. Sign me up. From what I've seen, this game should be out soon, but as we all know, anything can happen. Release dates can change anytime and games are frequently delayed. But we'll see. Maybe there are more Silent Hill / Resident Evil clones coming up, but these are the ones I know of. These are the ones that stood out to me. Each and every one of them seems like it will be good. Go ahead and try them now. Except for Hollowbody, they all have free demos. Speaking of Silent Hill and Resident Evil clones, another clone, which is at the same time their progenitor, is coming out today. The remake for Alone in the Dark. So I'm going to play that now. Hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.